All right, here we are. We're going to do a quick live video, so stay with me. And we're talking today about how difficult it is sometimes for dads in recovery to talk about it, to talk about this subject. And you know, in the rooms, the recovery rooms, the 12-step rooms in general, it doesn't come up. You could be sitting beside a fella and not know that he has 5 kids, literally, and three exes, like literally, it happens, and it doesn't come up. We don't talk about it. And why don't we talk about it? I think for a couple of reasons. One, it's not really approached so much in the recovery process. We don't, we're not lucky enough to have a sponsor who has experience with it. We just doesn't get talked about. Every fellow I've talked to hundreds now of men, and since I've been focusing on this thousands of men over the all my years of recovery, but none of us ever say, I never run into a fella who says, geez, I wish I didn't have kids. We all love our kids, dads in recovery. And it's worth mentioning that when many of us had our children, we were either, in my case, really early in recovery, or in active addiction, which is the early recovery guy like me, like I was, and in active addiction. I mean, we're really self-centered. We're not mature men, and so we sometimes laughingly say that we're babies having babies, but it's a bit somewhat, for many men it can be a bit embarrassing. It's like, oh my god, things didn't work out well. And I can relate to this as a kid having kids, that I ended up even competing in some ways with my children for the attention of their mother, and I was early in recovery, so my kids didn't get to see me drinking or using. But if you were a man and you had children and you're drinking and using, you were not a mature man. You weren't, and we were adolescents. And every one of us admits that after we get sober for a while, we're like, holy shit. We come in and we're in a 30-year-old body with the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old or 14-year-old, and it doesn't just change overnight as well. So here we are raising kids, and and often, their mothers raising us. It even becomes a bit of a joke. It's like, oh yeah, she has 3 kids and her husband, so 4, and so it takes a while to grow up, for us to mature, and no sin in that, no disgrace in that. I mean, we often we didn't plan to have kids when we had them. I don't know. I've talked to, again, hundreds of men who were like, "Oh my God, we're pregnant." Oh Jesus, how did that happen? And so we're in the game, and we don't know the rules. We don't have a benchmark. We're not, our own dad maybe wasn't all that present, and so that's the that's the deal. Yeah. So, you know, everybody that I talk to who says, "Wow, David, this is great," that you're working with men who are dads in recovery. But a lot of the men are afraid. They're like, I don't know how to approach this. And so this week, this Saturday, the March 29th that we're doing, it's not a shame thing. We're not going to shame anybody. We're there to support men in, by shining the light on the subject of parenting. I'm not a parenting expert, and I'm not coming to lecture. We're going to share our combined wisdom. I want every man to be there. Every man who's there is going to bring something, his experience. We're going to support each other that day, and so it's not a. I'm not there to lecture. I'll bring some of my own experience, and I'll facilitate, and we've got some other fellows that have agreed to, we're going to do breakout rooms, and we're going to talk about our relationships with our kids, our relationships with their mothers, right, relationships with our own dads. Shit may come up, but it's not a therapy session. we're going to get together and we're going to, talk about being dad. And in some cases, many men feel like the damage that's been done cannot be undone. I believe it can be. I do. I believe it can be. No matter where we're at as a dad in recovery, if our kids are adults and they have kids, they still need dad, and there's still an opportunity for us to be part of their lives. And so that's going to happen, and we're going to shine the light on it, bring the love into it, and acceptance into it, right? And compassion into it, and help men to see that no matter where they're at, things can be better, that we can be more involved and become trusted dads. Often we were so selfish and so self-centered that the mom of the, not knowing necessarily herself how to be a great mom, but afraid of our influence on the kids. So we're going to work on healing all of that. So that's the deal. My hope is that, if you're not a dad in recovery, but you know some dads in recovery, send them to me. My goal is to speak to everyone before this day. I want to talk to them. I want to find out, their kids' names. I want to find out, how many kids they have, how many mums that they've been involved with, and all of that. So this ripple of healing can go out from this day, and we've got other days planned after that, and events for men to get together so we can support each other. And I want men to know that this is an important job. It's maybe one of the most important jobs in our life, is this job supporting our kids and becoming mature men and women themselves, and breaking the chain of this of fear, this chain of addiction, alcoholism, addiction that we grew up with, many of us. So yeah, we're here to break the chain. So that's it. Love you guys. Get in touch with me. And if we've talked about it, before, I want to get you registered, and there's going to be a small fee, but we got to cover the overhead and stuff. So let's get that looked after. That's it. Share this if you will, and if you happen to be watching this, I'm doing it live on Facebook, but I also upload it into YouTube. You're watching on YouTube. I love it if you subscribe. I love it if you comment. The algorithms show it to more people if you comment and you like. So please do that. Okay, and share. Cheers. Love you guys. Cheers. Bye.